All right, we're here looking at David's TT4 S2000. This car is pretty freaking awesome when it runs right, but it hasn't run right in how many years? 2 years. So the story on this car is for TT4, you're allowed to make roughly 250 horsepower.
It depends on your weight, but it's 12 to 1.
Okay, so roughly 250 horsepower, and you built an F23,
Yep.
stock head,
Yes.
big cams,
Yes.
valve springs,
Yes.
different valves,
Yes.
bored out to 89 millimeter,
Yep.
sleeve block,
Yep.
and high compression.
Yep.
Okay, and it ran great like that, made lots of power, but we had a problem with it breaking valve springs and dropping valves in the motor, correct?
With the old cans, yes.
With the old cams. So he built motor number 3?
Yes.
Motor number 3, which was essentially the same, just changed cams to a cam various other people are using and not experiencing issues?
No, it's only 2 of those cams exist in the world, so no one else has them besides the sister car.
But the sister car is not having this
Has
issue.
No problems.
No problems at all.
The sister car doesn't have the same valve train as this car does. It's the only other
Okay.
difference that I know of.
All right.
Intake might be different, but yeah.
So describe what this thing's doing when it's on
gosh.
track.
So on the outlap, the car runs fine. It feels great as the car gets hotter. Could be on the first lap or so. As the car gets hotter, it starts sputtering mid-corner. You roll on the throttle, and the car just doesn't want to just get out of the corner. It just hesitates, and then it starts basically like pushing back on you. You can feel it almost in the throttle pedal, and it gets so bad that even on the straights, it feels like it's pulling timing. The car just feels slower, and it sputters and jerks and makes all kinds of horrible sounds.
And there's no codes,
No codes.
nothing in the data log.
Nothing in the data log. The only thing that's not in the data log we don't have is fuel pressure, which we have on the rail, which shows fine. We don't have oil pressure either. There's only 2 things, but data logs are completely clean.
And so initially we thought, okay, coming out of a corner, things sputtering and stalling, it's got to be fuel. So you low tank, medium tank, full tank,
Everything.
added a baffle in the tank,
Same
changed the
baffle.
fuel pump.
Yep. Fuel pump,
No.
injectors, rebuilt the fuel pressure regulator, redid the clips for the injectors as well. All of that.
Nothing.
Nothing. Went
So-
back to the dyno, went back to the engine builder. Nothing.
Nothing. After the fuel system fixes changed nothing, we moved on to
God,
every sensor in the motor.
Every sensor in the motor.
So VTEC solenoid,
Yep.
throttle position sensor, cam sensor, crank sensor, NOx sensor,
IAT.
IAT,
I have not
ECT.
done the 2 coolant sensors in it, but they're both a couple of years old, so.
Okay. Still did it.
Yep.
Moved on to wiring harness.
Yes, we found some damage in the wiring harness in multiple locations. Thought for sure that was a problem. Whole new wire harness. Nope. Same issue
Okay.
right off the bat. No changes.
So injectors are new. Injectors have been flow tested. Coils, plugs, new.
Yep. Coil plugs, of course. Start with those.
Okay. And no changes from any of the above.
Nothing.
So we've tested all the grounds on the motor.
Yep, all the grounds are good.
So we moved on to it's got to be in the motor.
Got to be in the motor, which
So-
we'll show you that part next.
All right.
Might grab
All
a
right.
little-
There we go. So we've got the head off the car. Take a look here. Yeah, so 2 and 4.
Yep, 2 and 4, 3's even a little toasty. 1 seems to be relatively okay. Scorched, doesn't look exactly great.
So we've got 2 and 4 blatantly different. We don't see anything of really showing head gasket failure. Being an 89 millimeter bore, that's a concern. The 2 and 4 definitely aren't happy. And you've moved the injectors around, so it's not injector related.
Correct.
Okay, let's see the picture. Yeah, so 2 and 4 definitely have the same color, the coloring that we see on the head there, but it doesn't. The fact that I can wipe it off is interesting. But what would cause? I mean, this thing has how many hours on track?
Less than 3.
Less than 3 hours of track use, and then it's got some pretty serious dyno time.
Yep, dyno time.
So it's had a bunch of dyno time. You've done compression leak down, and that
Yep.
was solid. Everything was the same
Mm-hmm.
across the board. Nothing crazy on the intake manifold. coloring is very interesting because with the amount of runtime it has, you'd think that anything that was in there from when it was built would be gone by now. Yeah, it should have burned off. But very interesting that it has that coloring, and then obviously an impact mark on that piston, but I don't think that's going to be your problem. Let's take a look at the header.
Oh, the header?
Alright, so we're doing the extremely scientific test here, seeing if we got any of the valves leaking. It's been filled for a couple of minutes and nothing obvious yet. We know that we do have valve stem seals leaking, because we could see oil in the backside of the valves before the motor was pulled apart. But that should not. I mean, there are motors that run with really bad valve stem seals that do not misfire after 2 laps. Or we're not even sure it's misfiring. So.
Yeah.
But, alright, we'll leave it like this and check it in the morning. Alright, so leaving no stone unturned here, as best we can. We have the head gasket, which is a Cometic, which is all you can really do with the size bore. Again, what's interesting is the rusty red stuff on the coolant. I mean, it's an aluminum block. There's obviously some iron and steel in there. A lot of rust. Nothing painfully obvious.
Liquid.
I definitely don't see any like constant source of coolant coming through. I'm gonna say this is top.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Nothing obvious there.
That is the top.
Yeah. It wouldn't run properly no matter what if these were swapped.
Yep. Last one would be the crank trigger wheel, which is behind the timing cover, which this is a good time to pull it all apart.
Well, there you have it. We're open to ideas. We're going to send the head to a machine shop, but if you've got any ideas, please post it in the comments.